2025 is finished, and we're here to share what are some of the things that we've learned throughout this year, with some questions that perhaps you can ask yourself and think about it in your own terms. What are the things that God taught you? My name is Layo.
My name is Emily, and we're the Ordonezes. And yeah, we wanted to look back on this year and just key takeaways and adventures and things that we can reflect on and take into the new year, some things that we can leave behind. So
yeah, our goal is to document our journey and bring you along the way. If you want to see what are the things that God has been working in our lives, through places that we've been, lessons that we've learned, things that we've started, and how you can be part of it. So thank you for being here.
Yeah. Okay, first question, babe.
What is something that you will tell your 2026 self? Like if 2026 Emily were to look at this video later, what is something that sort of like you're writing for her to hear now with something that you've learned? And I can start like, I mean, as for Leo, while you think about it, we are asking these questions on the spot.
Yeah.
So 2026 Leo, I will tell him change is one decision away. Like change is only one decision away. If you want change in something in your life, make the decision. In this case, we as married couple, we both make the decision and we move in that direction together. There is this chart that is called the cycle of change, the emotional cycle of change, how time and emotions meet together. And the stage number one is called the uninformed optimism. How we are so optimistic, but we don't have a lot of information about what it takes to, in our case, to move to another country to do a Bible school, or to move to another place to do a Bible school. We're so optimistic, but we don't know. Then you move to stage number two and go in the direction down, you become informed and pessimistic, because now you have information and you know how much it's going to take, as for cost, as for flights, as for packing, time, everything. Then is the valley of despair. And that's the most important section. Because on the valley of despair is where most people turn around and go try the next thing. They quit. In our case, it's like we tried Switzerland didn't work. Well, let's just stick to what we normally do. Let's stay with the comfort zone, what we know. But if you stick to it, that's after the valley of despair, you move into informed optimism, stage number 4, and then stage number 5 is success, the outcome, the desired outcome that you had. So what I will tell that Leo of the future is have this chart as something very important every single time that you're taking a decision as a family, leading your family, business, anything that you're doing. Remember that change is one decision away. And then when you are changing, you are going to experience each of these stages. And don't catch yourself in between stage number 1 and stage number 3, where you become informed and pessimistic. And then in stage number 3, the valley of despair, you turn around and you go and try the next shiny thing. Stick to it. Fall in love with the process. Trust in God through the process. And you're going to see the outcome. Don't, I guess, not that like not fall in love with the outcome, but fall in love with the process, what God is doing in you through that process. And I think that's something I will tell to my Leo.
My Leo, my future self.
My future
That's
self.
good. I think along those lines, I would say to my future self to be patient in the process. Like, don't rush the process of like healing, of growth, of like trying to figure out next steps. With a lot of change and stuff, like we've planned and done what we can, but like things have shifted and changed within it. And so I feel like for me, I just want to rush to the solution and like get there and do it. But then the process frustrates me. I'm like, it's taking too long. Like whether that be for like inner healing, I'm like, God, I should be past this by now. Or like when it comes to like what we did, packed up our whole lives and went, there were so many little details. And for me, I'm like, my personality is such a big picture. Like I see the end goal and that excites me. I love to wonder. I love innovation. Like how can we get there? But then the steps to actually do it, I'm like, Leo's dragging me along because that's what he's really strong at. And so I would say be patient with the process and like really just find joy in the things that God's growing you in along the way, even if it's like hard and difficult, like to see the good that God's doing through it, and to not like wish that you were somewhere else, because there's like wisdom and there's like wealth on the other side of like going through the process. So even with like book writing right now and speaking and stuff, it's like I want to just get to the okay, like what's the next stage I can speak on, or what's the next book I can write, or like what's the next student I can teach, but more like learning. Something God's been teaching me is like, don't just ask for his hand, but ask for his ways, like his heart, and to follow him through the process and not just ask him for quick solutions. Like that's part of that like thread of maturity. So I would say for myself, just to be patient with the process. So
That is so good. So you know how we talk about like holistic growth and holistic health and focused on physically, financially, spiritually, relationally, and mentally. If you can look at one of those areas and what was one action that you took this year that now by the end of it you look back and it's like, I grew in this area because of this that I did.
Yeah. The first that came to mind was like choosing to do RTC, like with YWAM, which is Respect the Corners. Yeah, it's like their holistic health, like fitness ministry, to teach biblical womanhood and manhood. But for me, I feel like it was such a time where like I went all in to coach, but I myself was getting coached by God and like holistic health and really being healthy in my mind and my spirit. And so yeah, when we're coaching women, a lot of times we're going after like body image. That's like a big one for girls, or self-worth, and I feel like as I'm encouraging girls, I myself am getting reassured of truth in that area specifically. And I feel like God even prompted my heart to do Respect the Corners and to become a coach, actually to one day prepare me for motherhood. And I didn't really like understand that, but I feel like God uses this season to really bring up areas of my life that were really insecure, or like with body image, like lies I had believed my whole life, and really start to like unpack it and like pull up all the deep roots, so that when I am a mom of a daughter or like of our kids, that I'm not passing down things that I had to deal with, or go through with the Lord. Like they can walk more free in the area of worth and identity, and in this area of like body, mind, spirit. So like we're all one, and that's how God sees us. That's how He created us. So I feel like honestly, choosing to become a coach with Respect the Corners really has started to help like heal me in actually all areas, mentally, physically, spiritually. And it's going to help me as I go into this new year.
That's so good.
How about for you?
For me, I would say the first one that came to mind is that like when we decided that we were going to do the Bible school.
Yeah.
We first wanted to do it overseas, Switzerland. It didn't work. We ended up in Hawaii. That was a huge decision, and some of the things that they taught us on that Bible school, like going into Scripture, looking for the character and nature of God, biblical action principles, the inductive method, like inductive Bible studies, but going on walks with God, giving my best hours to God. I mean, right after that, we'll be going fully into business.
Yeah.
Right after that, we wanted to lay our foundation. That's why we did the Bible school.
Yeah.
And then mid this year, going fully into business while you were going fully into RTC.
Yeah.
That was something massive. I guess that has helped financially, but also mentally.
Yeah.
Coming from that third world country, Ecuador over there, sometimes I didn't sell myself as someone who that like can lead a business. Even though, I mean, the LLC was set many years ago, but really going fully into it, and before it was always like the side hustle. Now it's like 100% into these and serving with excellence.
Yeah.
And that's really shifted a lot of my mindset.
Which is amazing because you've grown so much, and like from just choosing to go all in, like this is the first time we're like being able to do it.
Yeah.
And God's blessed it beyond like your goals,
Absolutely. Yeah, that was so cool too. Like seeing goals being marked, and that's trusting Him also for that for next season.
Yeah, that's so exciting. What's like one habit that you implemented this year, maybe that we put into our schedule this year, that you want to carry on with us to like the next year?
Wow. A habit that this year we have implemented. I know that when we were going through the Bible school, we talked about Sabbath.
Yeah.
And how important it is to, I don't know, before I just saw Sabbath honestly as people who want to rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was my father-in-law, Jared, who one time in one of his preachings, he said something very profound, that resting was still doing something. Like resting is not like just not doing anything,
Right.
but resting is doing something. And that's what Sabbath is. Sabbath, I guess that was something that we did, and I mean, we can keep implementing even better for our future family. But Sabbath helped me to, it's kind of like with tithing financially, but with time, understanding that,
That's
hey,
true, yeah.
with God on my days, if I dedicate one day to Him, I can accomplish in 6 days what others may accomplish in 7 days because I have God. I'm trusting God with my time. And when I saw it from that perspective, when the Bible school teacher told us that, that just blew my mind. Like, because if I am not doing that, it's like, oh, I need to work 7 days to make enough to provide for a family.
Yeah.
So everything is on my shoulders.
Yep.
But when I saw that Sabbath as that, like as the opportunity of welcoming
To
God
trust,
into my
yeah.
time, into business, into everything, we can trust Him that he's able to do more. And I think there is many studies that show that. I mean, like resting. I mean, it's not just resting like being a couch potato, if that's how you
Yeah.
say it, but
Oh,
is
yeah.
is being
For longevity.
proactive. Yeah, is being proactive on acknowledging God of like what are the things that He's been faithful in the past.
Yeah.
And that just brings such a sense of courage to go after the next week.
Yeah.
Is Sabbath also being that like a time that we talk about, like, hey, how is marriage going? What are the things that are working? What is not working?
Yeah.
So I would say that.
Yeah,
What would
I
be a
agree.
habit for you that you want to carry on next year that we've started this year?
Yeah, I would say Sabbath is a big one that we really kind of locked in on this year, like trying to figure out, I guess, of like what does that look like for our family. Um, but then one I'll share two, like one personally, one for us. One personally is that I've started the habit of reading a book before bed instead of being on my phone. So I'll go like plug my phone in away from the bed and I'll read a book to kind of like decompress. That's been awesome. I love like just falling asleep thinking of the things that I'm learning of. And it helps me like kind of soothe me to sleep. And I've like knocked out like quite a few books this year because of it. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting. So I want to continue doing that. And then secondly, we've started to do like our 5:30 walks at night where we'll stop work at 5:30 and then we'll just go for a walk and like talk about how we're doing, how the day was, just a connection point during the day. So I think that has been sweet and important. And I love watching the sunset anyways. So yeah.
Yes. What is a memory that you feel it was very hard this year? Like a very difficult memory?
Um, I would say one of the hardest memories was honestly saying goodbye to our community back in Story City, Iowa. Our church community was like amazing. We put a lot of our heart and soul into the youth there. And so one of our last potlucks was people going around and sharing like the impact that they felt from our lives and our ministry. And yeah, just like a lot of teary eyes and heartfelt memories and saying bye. Like it just kind of solidified like, yeah, this is what we chose. Like we chose to say goodbye to these amazing people and community. So that was really hard, but it was very solidifying of like, okay, this is like our next step to a next season. So it was like a bittersweet kind of, yeah. How about for you?
A hard memory. I feel like a very hard memory for me was when we were doing the Bible school. There was a lesson there that really highlighted to me, and that was that God, from the beginning, knew that we were gonna decide to be apart from Him, and that was really hard for me to hear. Like that God Himself knew that like we were gonna reject Him, but still decided to pursue a relationship with us. And going through the whole Bible, we learned that like is the redemptive plan of God. And then when we go into the New Testament, when Jesus also said, He knew that Judas was gonna betray Him. And he still decided to count him as one of his 12 disciples. There was until he died, never said 11 disciples and the one who will betray me. Like he will be moments where he called him out, where he will say, one of you will betray me.
Yeah.
But I feel like throughout the end, at least there is nothing that shows like favoritism or like that he was rejecting him.
Like he didn't treat them any differently. Like none of the disciples could know which one was going to betray.
Yeah. So that was very, hard and humbling for me really to understand that, to think. But yeah, the potluck, that was a hard part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well,
on the flip side,
I
have another one. What was one of the most joy-filled memories for you this year?
Wow, a joyful memory. A memory that really brings me a lot of joy. I think a big one for me is when we got to, we were on Japan and then we find out that we have a whole map back here. but we didn't have this map completely figured out back then. But I realized how close Indonesia was from Japan.
Yeah.
And then we decided to fly from Japan to Indonesia
Yeah.
on that short gap. I think that was a very joy-filled memory for me because we got to go to a place that I've always wanted really to go. It's been on my bucket list.
Yeah. It's
And
been
I
on his
remember,
wall. He has like a vision board.
yeah,
And he has a picture of this specific place.
yeah.
that
So
we have to
it's
go
like
to.
on my vision board and provision board. So on my vision was that like going to a place that overlooks a rice field, and I wasn't even sure where that was. But then Googling it, it was in Indonesia,
Yep.
on Bali, Indonesia, and it was on the same place that we got to stay.
We were staying.
Where
Yeah.
we were staying. And so that was such a joy-filled memory. How God, I remember that like praying and crying
Yeah.
and worshiping
Yeah.
at the same time, because that was a joyful memory. How about for you?
Yeah, that was a big one for me too, seeing Layo get to check off like a really big bucket list item, for the first time. That was really exciting. I would say for me personally though too, I got to speak at a women's conference or a retreat at the place I used to work, a Bible camp. And so I was their keynote speaker for like 3 sessions and I loved it. Like every second of it, I just walked away from the experience and like used some of my book, Broaden Your Becoming, to like speak to these women's lives and like from the word of God and just really encourage them in their season to draw near to God with confidence and using some of the things I learned from Bible school. But yeah, I just realized how much I truly enjoy speaking and want to do more of it. And yeah, I came back after every session just feeling more and more confident of like, this is something God's called me to do. And it fills my cup up so much. I feel like I could do it every day and be like, yes, this is like makes me come alive. So that was a really joy filled moment, I would say.
Oh, wow.
If you could describe 2025 in 3 words, what would it be?
3 words for 2025.
Yes.
I would say decisions, building,
Mm-hmm.
and risk. Decisions, because I really feel like that, like we talk a lot of decisions to change a lot of things today. Um, Even like what we're doing, this is something that we've truly never done. We just decided, let's give it a shot, let's do it. And it's better done than perfect because perfect is never done. So that like we took the decision to do it. We took the decision to quit our jobs and go to a Bible school, even though in many people's sight and a lot of times even our own side, it seemed foolish. We took the decision to stay here for longer and then start moving back our whole life. We took the decision to go fully into business, fully into missions.
Yeah.
I would say the word building, because we're building a lot right now.
Yeah.
In business and missions, in our callings, in our purpose.
Totally.
And I will say, I forgot my
Risk.
Risk. I would say risk because every decision brings some risk and some safety in, but most of the change was because of risk. So.
Yeah, totally. Okay, I would say adventure because we got to go to some places we've always wanted to this year, Japan and Indonesia, which is actually another question where we went and visited this year. But yeah, we just had really cool adventures on our bucket list. And then I would say stretching because, yeah, like our moving really brought up a lot of things that we had to go through, sort through. We've done it literally like we've lived in so many different homes this year. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, really minimalist living, stretching in the way that we read through the whole Bible this year, and really just like uncovering deep heart stuff that I have to like give to God and work through. And like anything that is fighting for first place with the Lord just really has to go. And so stretching in those ways, I would say. And then filled with awe, like so many moments where I would just like look at God's creation, whether it's here in Hawaii or in Japan or in Indonesia, overlooking like rice terraces. Like I was just like in awe of like, whoa, this is beautiful. Or like going whitewater rafting, and like hearing the thunder in the canyon and just like it echoing off the canyon walls. I don't know. So I would say those really marked this year for us.
Now let's talk about the people that we met this year.
Yeah.
And specifically this song says this very amazing line that talks about, says, it's not if they will remember you, but how will they remember you? Through the people, many places that we went this year, starting in Iowa with that amazing church family to now, how is people going to remember you? And ask that yourself, like, how are people going to remember you this year? And and again, like I can start, but how will people remember me? To be honest, this one was a big one on terms of, I guess sometimes I tend to be too focused on, like, yes, I want to be focused on growth, on progress, but I don't want people to remember me as always busy. I do want to create margin enough to meet with people. Yes, being strict that there is, I mean, I am going after something. Places to be, people to meet, however you want to say it. I have dreams that God has put on my heart, and I don't want to talk about them, but I really want to build a path towards them with Him. But I really hope that, like, I mean, this year, that like I can be remembered as that, like, somebody who's going after the things that God put on his heart, but also has enough margin to meet people where they are at. Because I really want to do that, and if not, 2026 is the year to give it a shot. But that's a part of, like, I guess, vulnerable, where, yeah, I really hope that that's what I've done for the people close to me,
That's good.
and for sharpening other men to help them grow in their faith, in their fitness, in their finances. So
That's awesome.
how about for you?
I feel like for me, I feel like how I want people to remember me, but also I feel like I've been encouraged in this way of like that I led with honesty and like humility of, I mean, many times as I'm coaching, like I'm myself and learning, right alongside these girls. And I made a little video reel of like this last semester of coaching. And the song was like, who am I? Who am I, like, to be loved by you? Who am I to be able to do all these things, And so I feel like I want to be known by leading with humility and honesty. And so just to like give hope to people that, like, okay, God's taken me this far, and like this is what I can give you, and there's so much more that He could do and work on me through. But like, yeah, just like being honest for the sake of like giving hope to people through what God's doing in my story, in my life. And then honestly, for like us, how people perceive us, I feel like an encouragement we've been given is just really surrendered, obedient children to the Lord, no matter how crazy it looks like. And that's really encouraging for us, because sometimes we're like, God, is that really you? Like, is this what obedience is? Like, should it look like this or that? But I think the fact that we're willing to take a risk and like be like, okay, God, like we're giving you our yes, even though we don't know 100% what that looks like. I hope people are inspired, like, by our story, that God can do so much through your yes. If you put it on the table, He'll like put a pin to it, and He'll give you the next step. So, yeah.
That is so good. That's
How
awesome.
about for 2026? What is one goal maybe that you have for this next year? Maybe it's in the area of finances or like physique or spiritually. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I would say, for 2026, asking myself, like, what are the things that I wanted to do in 2025? Why I didn't do them? Like, what was the friction in between me, or the excuses that I was creating for not to do it? And then go after it on 2025 with a fresh strategy, perhaps accountability. So for 2026, I think, yeah, that a big one, more than a goal, I think, is that, like, just refining more, like, the things that have already been working on 2025.
Yeah.
One of them is that, like, consistency on continuing giving God my best hours, working out every day, being very consistent with that, and that, like, going fully into business, and not quitting on the valley of despair whenever valley of despair hits.
Yeah. Well,
So I guess if I were to wrap everything in one, I guess not only physically, mentally, financially, relationally, or like something that I would love is that, like, don't quit on the valley of despair. Go beyond that.
that's good.
Go beyond that in our relationship, in our marriage too. Like, with whenever frustration or disagreement comes, just agree to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree if needed. Yeah.
That's good.
How about you?
If I could sum it up into one thing, like obviously, yeah, all the different areas, but something that just came to mind, like a proverb I read yesterday, was that a wise woman builds up her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. And I feel like that's a really big prompting from the Lord for me this next year, that I want to be a woman that builds up her home. And so honestly, just looking around at like, okay, what are the giftings God's placed on our life to start building? And like you said, that was a word for this year. Like, we've started to do business. Like, I feel like we're called to the sphere of communication and business to really bring the kingdom of God.
To influence.
Yeah, to influence. And so I feel like start building that even more like alongside you. And then also like we've talked about possibly like little ones in the like in the
Yeah.
near future, or so how can I build my home to be a place that cultivates life and is
Oh, wow.
being obedient to what God's called us to, and like speaking life.
I'm so blessed to be married to this woman.
And speaking
I'll probably
life.
kiss him after this.
Oh my gosh.
Can't believe I said that in public. I'll probably edit that. Maybe
Probably
not.
shouldn't. Just kidding. No, but yeah, just like speak life into my husband, and like I want to be a woman that builds up, like the people in her home. And so, because it can be easy for you to tear down the very things that you love the most, or like the very things that God's called you to, because I don't know, it's easy to. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I feel like that's a big goal for this next year, is to build up my home.
Wow.
Well,
I love that. Thank you. And I am so blessed that I'm part of your home. There's that proverb also that says that, when God gives you a wife, he's showing you his love. And I feel like that's definitely, I'm very feel loved by God by having you. So as we wrap this up, we want to speak to you that may be watching this. Our hope is you can see that we have a world map behind us. And there is this quote that talks about how the world is like a book. And each single country of these is like one page on that book. The more places that you are, the more pages that you read. And yeah, I agree. Not everyone is called to just travel or anything. And it's not that, I mean, we're not also like crazy travelers. God allows us to go to places, and we decide to be in mission with him by influencing others wherever we are, whether we were in Ecuador, myself, California, Missouri, Iowa, wherever we are. I want to encourage you to be of influence wherever you are. And we want to do that. Like, we want to help people that is interested on how can I pursue after the desires that God has put on our heart, because that's what we're doing. How can I go after that? How can I have a community perhaps that will encourage me along the way? Well, that's what we're hoping to keep building, a community of people that is taking a steps forward for God, is stepping out of the boat of security, and is willing to go down to that stage one day, being informed, being uninformed and optimistic, then being informed and pessimistic, and on that valley of despair. A community that is willing to head to the valley of despair, that altogether we're going to aim to bridge towards that success and that outcome that God is wanting for us. So as you are watching these, wherever you are on that globe, that's why we love technology that can connect us with the people that we love, that you may be watching this. We want to invite you to be part of it. And it's not just to pray for it and perhaps share it with someone that may need it, in terms of that, like as we are doing this ourselves, somebody else that may need it. But yeah, we're very glad. I mean, that you can ask yourself these questions. In your time, we will have them written in the description below. But ask yourself your questions of 2025, it's over. And these are the things that you can look back one day. In our case, we'd love to look back with our children and what are the things that God taught us. How do people remember us that year? Different questions that we asked. So
yeah, we hope that you guys do this with us, and reach out if you want to connect and to learn more. And we'd love to journey alongside you and encourage you and keep you accountable to stay intentional and to be a light. We're not meant to hide what God's given us, to bless others around us. So this is why we're passionate about what we do, and we're excited for what 2026 will hold. But we're super grateful for 2025, and I feel like we have to look back and learn before we can move forward. So
100%. Well, very happy that you watched this. God bless you, and we will see you next time.